I mean, he's on a legendary career already.
I think Alcaraz definitely got room for improvement.
It feels like we had seen the end of that kind of Carlos Alcaraz.
They're going to look at Carlos and what he does and how he loves to be aggressive and move forward because we lost a lot of that.
I mean, Alcaraz, I'm sorry, but this guy's amazing.
You're talking about a phenom like a Carlos Alcaraz.
Carlos Alcaraz.
Carlos Alcaraz, the top-ranked player on the planet, a four-time major winner, delivering an absolutely electric performance at the Australian Open. And then suddenly, everything grinds to a halt. Not from a pulled muscle, but because of a small health monitor tucked beneath his wristband. And the tennis community completely erupted. Let me set the scene for you. January 26, 2026, Rod Laver Arena, Alcaraz facing Tommy Paul, round of 16. Carlos had been rocking his whoop strap under his wristband the whole tournament. 3 full matches, 0 complaints. But ahead of this one, chair umpire Maria Cicak notices it and instructs the world's best player right before the match to remove it. Pretty bold move, might not be permitted anymore, and check this out, Aryna Sabalenka also asked to ditch hers. Jannik Sinner, identical situation, 3 number 1 ranked players, all sporting ITF, cleared devices, all made to rip them off.
A lot of confidence.
Something on underneath it that might not be allowed.
This isn't some debate about a gadget. This is about tennis refusing to enter the modern era while every other big-time sport has already adapted. And when icons like Lleyton Hewitt and Todd Woodbridge openly blast their own event, you know the system is failing. Alright, why is this even prohibited? Let me read you the actual regulation, because it's wild. The ITF International Tennis Federation has this classification called Player Analysis Technology. Essentially, any gadget that gathers, records, or sends information is prohibited unless you receive advance authorization. And even with that authorization, you still require clearance match by match. So here's the catch, Whoop is on the approved roster. Models above 3.0 are completely legitimate. The WTA, the women's circuit, has been an official Whoop partner since 2021. The ATP Tour gave them the green light in 2024 too, but Grand Slams operate under separate guidelines. Because tennis has 4 ruling organizations that can't align on a single thing. They're worried coaches might use them for coaching. Hold on, what? Mid-match coaching already permitted in tennis? They literally updated that rule. So what's the issue then? This is where Australian tennis legends step into the conversation, and they are pulling no punches. Lleyton Hewitt, the Lleyton Hewitt. Former number 1, 2-time Grand Slam victor, Australia's Davis Cup captain, went on Channel 9 and absolutely demolished the ITF. I'm not certain what the ITF are up to. Well, at this point anyway, they've had a nightmare run with Davis Cup and now this, and creating new regulations now when you're allowed to use it on the WTA Tour. It makes 0 sense at all. Bang, direct hit. But hold on, Todd Woodbridge, fellow Aussie icon, 17 Grand Slam titles, chimes in. They're concerned you could use it for coaching. Well, we already have coaching. Why can't you access your own data? I can't wrap my head around those regulations. Sometimes our rules in tennis, one rule says this and the other. One says that, can we please get everything aligned? These guys are calling matches at their own home Grand Slam, and they're openly criticizing the tournament officials. That's how serious this has gotten. And here's what makes this whole thing even more infuriating. Let's hear what the players themselves think. Because Jannik Sinner, world number 1 before Alcaraz, reigning Australian Open champion, had something meaningful to share about this. Sinner didn't position this as defiance. He respected the regulations. But listen to his reasoning, and then he delivers this gem. Longevity, not gaining an edge, not some competitive advantage. He's trying to safeguard his body so his career doesn't flame out at 28. Because tennis destroys you physically. And you know what? He makes a valid case. Because tennis players are falling apart from injuries left and right. The schedule is punishing. And while the NFL, NBA, MLB, they're all embracing wearable technology to safeguard their athletes, tennis is over here going, nah, information is frightening. Here's the core issue nobody wants to confront. Tennis is a fragmented disaster. 4 separate governing organizations. The ITF oversees the Grand Slams, the ATP manages the men's circuit, and the WTA handles the women's circuit. Every tournament can establish its own regulations. It's pure disorder. And you know what that creates? Total inconsistency. Alcaraz had his whoop on for 3 matches at the exact same event. 3 matches, various officials, not a single objection, then out of nowhere, 4th round. Hey, that needs to come off. That's not proper enforcement, that's arbitrary. The Australian Open itself is pushing to revise this regulation. They're in talks with the ITF, but red tape moves slower than Djokovic's service windup. Meanwhile, Whoop. The brand put out a statement, that's powerful. Whoop maintains athletes have a basic right to comprehend their own performance and wellness. Restricting access to personal health information does not safeguard the sport. Mic dropped. Period. That's the whole case. Look, I understand. Tennis wants to preserve competitive fairness. Nobody wants competitors receiving covert messages from coaches via their smartwatch. But that's not what we're discussing here. We're discussing sleep metrics, heart rate patterns, recovery ratings, data that literally every other sport relies on to maintain athlete health. The NFL monitors everything. The NBA practices load management, baseball counts pitches. Tennis? Nah, just grind through it and pray your shoulder doesn't blow up. At 26, Carlos Alcaraz, a guy who's publicly stated the tennis schedule is too grueling, wants to track his body so he can enjoy a lengthy career. And tennis told him no, strip it off. That's not safeguarding the sport, that's stunting its growth. This isn't merely about a whoop restriction, it's about tennis choosing whether it wants to progress or remain frozen in 2005. And until these 4 governing organizations sit down together and reach a consensus, we're going to continue seeing these ridiculous disputes. What's your take? Is tennis being absurd, or is there a valid justification to prohibit these devices? Leave your opinion in the comments. Smash that subscribe button. Because tennis controversy is never ending, and neither are we.